Tucker Jenkins, welcome to the pod, buddy.
How you doing, Mr. Jude?
Good. How are you? Thanks for coming all this way.
Yeah,
Let's
appreciate it.
let's talk about some golf.
Not like we do that. Not like we don't do that every other day.
I know. You're one of my good friends. I've known you for a while. Go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone listening.
Yeah, Tucker Jenkins. Moved to Nashville back in 2018 after finishing school at Mississippi State. Didn't play golf there. Just went to school. Kind of took a couple of years off playing a little bit, especially competitively, because I wasn't a member anywhere, so I didn't really have anywhere to go play and practice consistently. Got back into it when I joined Legends summer of 2019. So I guess I took a year off, and then I guess I tested some teachers for a little bit while I was trying to get back into it, and then I don't really know how I found you. How did I find you?
Spencer Provo.
Spencer Provo. All roads lead back to Spencer Provo.
Match play champion.
So yeah, we met I guess about 3 years ago almost now.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been doing that for 3 years, and more so friend than golf coach now.
Yeah,
but still golf coach. So,
both,
yeah. So
multiple hats.
Grew up in Tupelo, Mississippi. Well, Baldwin, Mississippi, just north of Tupelo. All I had was golf and Mississippi State, and so I played, a couple other sports growing up and stuff too. So
you played basketball, baseball, golf, correct? And
football until my freshman year. Yeah, played all four though in 7th and 8th grade, and growing up before then.
How influential playing multiple sports has that become in your golf career now?
For me, it's big because I do a lot of things incorrectly.
Mm-hmm.
So my athleticism has to take over. I think you would agree with that.
It's not incorrectly. It's just you have your own unique DNA.
Yeah.
But you do it quite well, very frequently. We'll get into all your accolades as a mid-am here in a bit, but yeah, you don't do it wrong. You just do it specific to you.
Yeah. No, so many kids are just playing one sport, whether it's not even golf, basketball, going to AAU, baseball, going to perfect game camps from the time they're it's, I don't agree with that personally. I went to a small school. I graduated with 56 people. You kind of had to play multiple sports, but even now they're less than that now at Baldwin. And definitely kids think that they just need to play one and focus on it from a pretty young age. But I don't know that you can get really anything bad coming from having a little bit more responsibility at that young age, especially. People always ask me if baseball affected my golf swing and golf affected my baseball swing, because those were my two main sports. I love basketball. College basketball may be my favorite thing in the world, but I was a little too short and a little too small. And I never really, never really had that overlap. There was a lot of times where I would play a high school golf tournament and go play a division baseball game that same night.
I think they correlate and they help.
Yeah.
Anytime I get high level baseball players, and especially MLBers that walk in and they start taking lessons, they're so used to leveraging their body to make the ball move as fast as they can.
Yeah.
There are so many similarities, and obviously with the hand-eye, and they become addicted. It's their obsession, especially when they retire from MLB and they start playing golf. And it's so easy to work with those guys because they get it so quickly.
Yeah, you think I think hand-eye is probably one of the biggest things it probably crosses over.
And they all have speed, like crazy amounts of
which
speed.
Everybody wants nowadays.
Yeah.
But I think the hand-eye thing would be huge. Just kind of being able to, make also it's like, you drop a ball and you got to figure out a way to get the ball. You got to hit a golf shot. You're less techniquey, more like be an athlete, hit a low cut under this tree, hit a high draw over this tree. Just kind of being able to make things happen.
Does it help you? Because if we're playing bad in basketball, we can hustle, we can dig down. If we're playing bad in baseball, go to a different level, kind of physically. You can try harder, make sure that you're making the play, hitting the cutoff guy. There's things you can do to get yourself back.
Yeah.
Do you think that helps you on the golf course? Like being able to dig deep and know that if I can make this 3-pointer, or if I can turn this double play and go 3 for 4 this game, and when I was down and out, golf is easier to me.
Yeah, That's a good way of looking at it. And I focused on that a lot last year. We talked about this. How you respond, which everybody talks about this in every sport, but it definitely helps you in golf. I mean, you're going to hit more bad shots than good. That may not be the case actually for everybody. But most people are going to hit more bad shots than good. So being able to get out of that situation, really forget about the shot, forget about the swing. Because I used to have that issue, you know, it's like I would have one bad swing and I'm like, okay, this is how I'm going to swing it the rest of the day. I'm screwed.
Yeah.
Really, that's not the case. You know, if something was just off, something happened here or there. It's really the what's the word I'm looking for? It's not the norm. What's the opposite of that? You know, I'm from Mississippi.
Abnormal.
Yeah. We'll go with that. It's abnormal. The bad swing can be the abnormal swing. Whereas, you know,
the outlier.
Yeah. You know, you get back on the next tee box, the next fairway, whatever the case may be, is what you work on and practice every day still there. So
I like that. Go ahead, because you primarily at this point in your career, very high level mid-am, you're only playing in tournaments.
Yeah.
You don't play in a lot of just like hit and giggles. Even when you play on the weekday at the club, you're working on your golf swing. You're using that to get ready for the upcoming tournament. So how you get over that bad shot really has more weight to you because all you're doing is playing in tournaments.
Yeah.
Because you have the tournament pressure, you have the travel, you have the new golf course. So it is paramount for you to figure out a way that you do admit that this isn't normal. This isn't abnormal, but they're going to happen. You're going to hit bad shots. You're going to hit more bad shots than perfect shots.
Agree. Yeah.
Because our levels are so high for golf, right? So yeah, you always have to be thinking of the next shot in front of you, not the one you just hit kind of thing.
Yeah. And that's, you mentioned not playing in a lot unless you're playing in a tournament. I used to think playing was the most important thing, and it still is. But now pretty much all I do is practice if I'm not playing in a tournament. You know, during the week, go out there, hit some balls, chip. I spend so much time chipping because of what we're talking about. You're going to hit so many more bad shots than perfect shots. So being confident for me in my short game is the best way that I can personally get over hitting a bad shot. Like that's probably the best part of my game, I would say, is my short game.
Elite short game.
And so I know, okay, I just hit a bad shot. Whatever. I'm going to go get this up and down probably. Move on to the next. Forget about it. And that helps, you know, being able to move on past a bad swing. And honestly, like for me, what helped me the most, getting over bad shots. And I used to have a temper growing up bad. And I can still get mad if I need to. But is the tournaments and the people that I play with now. You know, you play with people that are only 25 years and older. A lot of the time it's mid 30s to even 50. You're just not going to get, you know,
they've all leveled out.
Nobody's getting mad out there. Like the tournaments that I play in, it's not do or die for everybody. They're big tournaments and we all want to win. We all want to beat everybody, but we're all also out there having fun. And that has helped me a lot. And it's transferred over to, like, you know, we have our club championship this weekend where it necessarily isn't a huge tournament, or we're at a really nice place, or I'm playing with, you know, people that I want to meet and look up to, and friends, and, you know, don't know that well. But that characteristic is transferred over into pretty much every tournament I play. And that helps out a lot too.
What do you think is the most crucial part in mid-amateur golf, as far as, is it short game? Is it speed? Is it the ability to get over the bad shots? What do you see when you're out there traveling? I think it's the ability
to not care. Like if you can not care, then you become so much better. And I still care a lot. Well, everybody cares a lot. But when you get on the first tee and you're not warming up or you're not hanging out, whatever, you've got to be able to say, okay, when I get home from this event, my wife's still going to be there, probably mad at me, but she's going to be there.
I've been gone for 5 days.
Yeah. And you've got a good job. You got people around you, you know, that want to see you do well. All of my buddies are, while I'm playing, all of my buddies are following along on the GGID. You know, I get done with my round. They're texting me when I'm making a double. saying, what in the world happened right there. They're texting me when I make a couple birdies as I come in saying, let's go, good finish, blah, blah, blah. So it's the ability to not care is probably the most important thing, because most everybody out there, they all care, but they don't.
Yeah.
So it makes the game so much easier when you don't. So all those guys have that advantage already, specifically the older guys. Like, me in 10 years, for example, I'm 29. When I'm 39, it'll probably be way easier than it is for me right now. Even in 3 years, it'll probably be easier, because right now it's way easier than it was 4 years ago.
Yeah. How much quicker has it? So you come off a bad round, which for you is a couple over in a big event. You put the flag stick on 18, you shake hands, you sign your scorecard. Did you used to have that driving home? Did it affect you at night? Now is it as soon as you shake those hands with your playing competitors, you've just kind of reset?
No.
You've relaxed? How long does that stick with you? And are you getting to turn the page, so to speak, quicker as you're getting older?
Definitely quicker, not immediately.
Yeah.
It still bothers you if you don't go out there and shoot, even par or better. For the most part, the other side of this is in mid-am golf, the golf courses we play are awesome.
Unbelievable.
Like maybe the best of, definitely better than most PGA Tour stops. Better than a lot of the places college tournaments and amateurs are at, outside of a couple. And all of these places are so hard. So if you shoot even par, a lot of the times if you shoot 2 over par, you're moving up the leaderboard at these places. My next tournament after this club championship is the Lupton at Honors. If you shoot even par for 3 days, you probably you have a very good chance of winning the golf tournament. Now Honors is especially hard. I just played at Kinloch last week. I think even par was 7th.
Did you finish 10th?
Maybe
T10, 9th?
No, I think I was 12th.
That's a good finish.
12.
Big
yeah,
field.
It was really good field. For mid-am, the power rating or whatever you want to call it on Wagger was really, really strong. So that was nice.
For the aspiring mid-ams, and mid-am is 25 or older, how do they get into these events? How would you tell them what's the blueprint to follow?
So somebody asked me about this. Somebody asked me about this Saturday. And I told them to go play in your state mid-am, your state am. If you have a state match play in your state match play, state open, basically play in every event. Is a buddy of mine from back in Mississippi. And I said, go play in your state. I said, go play in all the state events, get a couple of good finishes. And I said, look, go to amateurgolf.com. There's all kinds of tournaments. If you want to know the big mid-am tournaments, you can look on amateurgolf.com / mid-am majors, I think is what they're called. But I was like, if you go play in your tournaments like that, you play well, start to build a resume, because you have to send a golf resume to get in all these things. That's kind of the track. That's, at least for me, what did it for me was a couple of good results in the Tennessee State Am and the Tennessee Mid-Am. And fortunately, we have great amateur golf here too. So and most people know that. So if you finish well here in a couple of tournaments, you can kind of catch a little bit of attention on a resume at least.
And you medalist, 63 medalist in the U.S. Mid-Am qualifier.
Yes, 2023.
Was that your biggest win, or what?
I mean, as far as medalist goes, yeah, that's just a 1 day. Is that a win? Kind of, I guess.
So, you have a medal.
Yeah, it's a qualifier, but yeah, I shot 63 and medaled, got into the US Mid-Am at Sleepy Hollow in 2023, and it just qualified for the US 4-ball that year as well. So got to play both, which was really, really neat. Those were my first 2 USGA events.
So biggest win, 3 USGA now?
Just two, yeah. Biggest win is probably, the Devlin 4-ball with Bill. We won that. We finished second the first year, and then 2 years ago we won it. So that was really cool. Bill's been a good friend of mine for really since I got here, and kind of introduced me a little bit to the mid-am stuff. And
you're just rattling off these tournaments that are all at top 100 golf courses.
I know, they're so good. Secession,
awesome,
which is where Devlin is. It's probably the funnest weekend that I have every single year. Secession is awesome. It's the easiest golf course in the world to walk. It's the best greens that I play every single year. Now they're pretty flat, so they can get them to 15 and a half. But the wind's blowing. the golf course isn't super tough. It's not like super long, but the wind's just howling.
It can be when the tide's up and the
wind's
wind's
true.
going.
That's true. Which usually the tide's down when we play it. I'm not smart enough to know how all that works. But
I'm not either.
Yeah, but usually the tide's down. Which again, on a couple of those holes, it doesn't necessarily matter. Like 17, they're really cool. If you miss the green on 17,
you're dropping.
It's double whether you have water or not. But yeah, I mean, the U.S. medaling at the U.S. Mid-Am qualifiers was really big. Now, as far as like moment though,
proudest moment.
When I shot. So the state am was at Cherokee. Like I think that was 2022.
You had a crazy 2-year stretch there where I think you didn't finish outside the top 10 in like any event.
So I went, so the 2022, the 2023 state am and mid am, I got fourth, and sixth in those 4 events. And that's what kind of got me into my first, what I'd say big mid am event. And that one at Cherokee, on the 3rd round at Cherokee, I shot 65. And that put me in the last group on Sunday. I played with Blades. And I played with
Lance,
who won the golf tournament. Yeah. So I shot 65 in the 3rd round and lost 5 shots to Lance.
Yeah.
But when I played that 3rd round, that was kind of I left that day thinking, okay, I've never done this in my life. And that I felt pretty comfortable. I shot 67, 65, I think. And then the 4th round, I think I shot 72. I think I ended up getting 4th place. I was so nervous that 4th round.
Is it tricky for you because when you go and you're playing against Blades or Lance Simpson, these All-Americans from these big schools, Payne Denman, and do you think you belong now? Because I know sometimes you thought you didn't belong because you played multiple sports. You didn't play golf in college. You could have, but you wanted to go to. You could have. Do you feel like you belong now since that incredible 2.5, 3 year stretch of golf?
I feel more comfortable for sure. I don't know that I would say belong. I'm not as good as the guys that play in college and big time college, all that stuff. Or at least I wasn't. I feel better about myself now when I go play these tournaments. Like, hey, I have maybe a little more respect than I used to. But you're still like, man, these guys are good. Blades is playing PGA Tour events. Lance will be one day. So like that, especially if I was in that group again this year with those guys or with guys of that stature, I definitely would be a lot more comfortable. Would I feel like I belong as a 29-year-old mid-am who sells furniture? Probably not, but it would be fun. And I think I'd play better because I would be more comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's high pressure, immense pressure being in the final round of a state am.
Yeah, it was.
There's only so many people that can ever say that they've done that, especially in Tennessee, because the talent in Tennessee is just through the roof.
Yeah, and I don't think I realized that at the time either. Now looking back at getting 4th and 4th back-to-back years.
I mean, you beat.
I may not do that. I may not do that again, and I'm better now than I was 2 years. At that time. But you have a good week,
But growing up in Mississippi has a lot of good golfers.
Yeah, it's better now.
Did you look up to any of those guys growing up? I know. Most of them you were friends with.
Jim Gallagher is the biggest. He's been in Mississippi for a long time. He's the biggest name that I think of in Mississippi. And I know Jim, and he's got a daughter that's around my age. And I used to play in the Greenwood Invitational where he's from a couple of years. And I lost to Joe Deraney, who's probably the best golfer from the state of Mississippi.
Was that the playoff at the Lupton?
Well, I lost to Joe in a playoff at the Lupton last year, but I also lost to him in a playoff at the Greenwood Invitational. And the year before I lost to him as well at the Greenwood Invitational.
You'd send him like a fruit basket or something.
I know.
Tell him to take it easy.
And Joe's from Tupelo, so I know Joe very well. But Jim's probably, Jim's an awesome guy. Ryder Cupper. I know he won a PGA Tour event, maybe a couple. But he's a really good guy. So when you think of, Mississippi guys that were successful, Jim's usually the guy that comes to my mind. Yeah.
What's the one golf course in Mississippi everyone needs to play that they may have never heard of?
that they haven't heard of. I mean, there's two that are better than the rest, in my opinion. Fallen Oak, which you have to stay at the Beau Rivage to play, I believe, is really, really cool. It's not like, I mean, it's really good. But it's not, you go out, you play golf, you leave for the most part. But very good golf course, and the Beau Rivage is a really cool place. My favorite course is Annandale in Madison. Most people like Reunion, which is right across the street more. But Annandale is just a golf club, really cool men's grill. John and Shelby are two guys that have been there forever that run the place, basically. The golf course is awesome. They used to play the Viking Classic there.
Yeah.
And now they've moved it to a country club at Jackson, which I'm not a huge fan of, but that's where all my buddies play at. And what's it called? It's called the Sanderson Farms now. But they used to play, it used to be the Viking Classic in Annandale, and I think Annandale's fantastic. Now, the one that everybody knows that's awesome is Old Waverly.
Yeah.
Old Waverly's as good as it gets. And you got Mossy Oak across the street too. So you can go and stay, and you used to could go and stay and play both. Old Waverly's kind of tighten it up and kind of going back to that pretty private, which is good for Old Waverly. I think that's what they need to do. They've kind of caught themselves in a little tweener for a couple of years.
Have a PGA Tour player by that place?
Jerry Pate's running it.
Yeah.
A group of guys bought it. Jerry Pate is kind of the head guy. He's kind of taking the show over, I guess. But they hosted, I think it was 1999 U.S. Women's Open. I want to say Stacey Lewis won or Paula Creamer. I don't know why, but it's one of those two. I'd have to look it up. But it was a really big name. Maybe the number one player in the world at the time.
Really young.
Yeah. And I think they hosted a U.S. Junior Amateur like in the last 5 years. Or Southern Junior. They hosted the U.S. Southern Junior a couple years ago.
What's going on with your golf swing? What have we been working on?
Well, for the first time in a long, like the last 6 to 8 months, we haven't changed a lot, which is nice. I've gotten to the point where I can keep my hands outside, or the club face outside of my hands on the way back, which is great. And from there, just rotating, without making sure my hips open a little bit further than my rib cage. So yeah, from right now, it's pretty comfortable. We did this little drill the last time I saw you a couple of weeks ago before I went to Kinlock, where I was pulling on. I basically set the golf club down and I pulled on it. You stood on a rope and I just pulled
resistance bands. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just pulled it. And you're like, that's how you need to open up with your hips and your shoulders. So like since then, I mean, before I take it away, I take it to P2 right there, make sure my shoulders aren't turned, my rib cage is kind of staying parallel. And then I just feel that resistance, pulling that resistance band. So honestly, pretty simple right now. It's kind of nice. And we haven't done a lot, we haven't made any big changes lately because we did spend a lot of time. Because when I first came to see you, my club head just went straight inside, and it always did. And we went through a couple of different ways to keep that from happening.
We went through a lot of feels. We're always keeping open dialogue because it really matters to me what you can do under pressure.
Yeah.
What you can do at Kinlock, what you'll do next week at Honors.
Yeah.
And you had a tendency to move off the ball because that's how you got power, And once you got center on the ball and learned how to pivot and learned how to kind of use the ground a little better and kind of torque into that grass, you picked up distance.
Yeah.
Stop drawing the ball.
Yeah. Stop drawing the ball is huge. So 2022, I think it was, or 2023 maybe. When I stopped hitting it left, is when I got so much better than I was before. And now I pretty much play knowing where my ball isn't going to go, which leads back to another question you asked earlier, besides not caring. And this goes for all levels of golf. In my opinion, knowing where your ball isn't going to go is the most important thing in the game. I don't think there's anything more important than knowing where it isn't going to go. When I step up to my golf ball, 99% of the time, I know it's not going left. If I can miss right, which is where I want my miss to be, because the ball is going to probably most likely sit there and not roll, then I'm pretty comfortable playing. Even if I'm not really super comfortable with my swing, or if I don't feel good that day, or if my timing may be off, if I know the ball's not going left, I can play.
Yeah. When you look at statistics, you will see that a PGA Tour player will miss 60% of his on missed fairways. It'll be 60% to one side, 40% to the other. So it's actually a lot closer than you think.
Yeah, I would have guessed like 80-20.
Well, when you're out there and you're watching them, the guys that fade it, say they overfade it, it goes in the right rough. The guys that fade it and they're missing it left, it's just a pull, or it's maybe slightly off the toe.
Yeah.
Or, the pull started a little bit further left. They're not setting up and they're not hitting toe hooks.
Yeah.
Or they're not hitting pull draws. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the stats are a little misleading, but yeah, those guys, and obviously when you're under pressure, you'll see some of those guys start to hit it left, and they'll get a little out of sequence. Maybe they'll get stuck or whatever. But yeah, for the most part, when you look at the stats, the ones that are left are just the ones that were straight, like they didn't set up their eye.
Yeah.
But having control of your golf ball and not fearing when you have OB left and the golf course to the right, not fearing that you're going to hit that left.
Yeah. One thing when I did a lot better with this at Kinlock. When I get in tournaments, you always have a fear of something, like you're saying, for some reason. Mm-hmm. It's just the way we are. I tend to not be as aggressive in my transition. As when I get to the top, I almost tend to hesitate because I don't want to hit it too far, whatever the case may be. I'm always trying to keep the ball in front of the hole. Mm-hmm. I did a really good job at Kinlock because of that move or resistance band. The second part of it where I don't even know what you call it, but you pull it and then you pull it with your second. Mm-hmm. I felt like if I would just do that with a lot of power, then I would hit the ball. Because when you watch guys that play on tour, like they swing so hard, even with irons, whatever the case may be. And that's why they hit it high and it lands and it spins.
They move it and they can cover it.
100%. Yeah. But that's how you hit it high and you keep it from going all over the place on firm greens. Mm-hmm. It's like when I get hesitant and I swing a little, awkwardly or scared at it, you swing a little slower, you lose spin. Then it just makes the game even harder when you're playing firm golf courses. I did a really good job of that at Kinlock, so I'm excited about that going forward.
Good job. Let's talk about your DNA. You're very good at golf. You're humble. You have a great resume. Your swing is unique.
Yeah.
But you do the same thing for the most part, a majority of the time, under immense amounts of pressure. So you and I have gone back and forth the past 6 months working on club head positions and particularly right arm. It was becoming a struggle for you. You felt like you were doing it.
Yeah.
On video, you weren't doing it, but you were getting results of just the feel. And then when we cleaned up your tilt a little bit, made your pivot a little stronger, you kept on videoing it, but the right arm was still kind of high and a little bit flying out. And I told you just to stop recording your golf swing.
Yeah.
And you will hit balls for 20 hours a week, 30 hours a week.
A lot. I hit a lot of golf balls.
And you video it a lot.
I do.
Have you started videoing it less? Because it's really, comparison is a thief of joy. It's really easy to compare yourself to Andy Ogletree or
Mississippi Kid.
Yeah, that's why I brought it,
Yeah.
And you look at him and he's short and compact and really good driver of the golf ball and playing on live and playing really well, making a lot of money. Or you compare yourself to Rory when he wins or whomever, right?
Yeah.
We all do that.
Yeah.
But it was starting to mess with you, I think.
Yeah.
So have you bought into that a little bit? Have you looked at it less?
I recorded it yesterday for probably the first time in probably a month, which is, nobody that's listening to this knows how insane that is for me.
The Vanderbilt guys will know.
Yeah, they will. But that's a lot for me. And I really don't even know why I know why I recorded it. I was hitting it really good. And I was like, I haven't looked at this in a long time. There was nobody up there on the back range. I was like, I'm just going to see what this looks like real quick. And, it didn't look like what I thought it looked like. It wasn't perfect, but it looked good, I thought. But yeah, when I look at it, I'm still like, okay, it doesn't look like I want it to look like. So I want to change something. Mm-hmm. But you don't have to. If you're hitting the ball good, I've gotten better at that. Last year, if I videoed it and I didn't like it, then I was probably texting you saying, mm-hmm. Hey, I got it. I'm not doing this, but.
And I would always reply, well, where's the ball going?
Yeah. And put the
glove under. Yeah.
Yes. And I still do that. Away. Put the phone away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put my little video thing, the stick. Yeah. Put that up in the truck. Yeah. I've quit doing that, which has been good. So as long as I'm hitting the ball good, it's fine. And you were saying, even though necessarily it might not be in the spots that I want, I can still trust it. I'm really good at, in my opinion, if I hit a couple of good shots and I'm comfortable with my feel, then I'm comfortable taking that to a golf course. Like, I just tell myself over and over two things. One, because I hit so many golf balls. Like, all right, you've hit so many golf balls with this feel, and you hit them great on the range. It's gonna work. It's like when I was a kid, I used to go to the theme park. I'd be so scared of these high roller coasters, and I was just like, this roller coaster's been going since before you were born, and nothing's ever happened. Why is it gonna happen bad this time? So I literally used that in the golf. I was like, all right, I've hit so many balls with this, and you hit it fine. Just because you're playing in a tournament, nothing's gonna change.
Yeah.
So it makes it easier to trust.
How many different feels will you have leading up to a tournament? Will you go through a little Rolodex when you're warming up?
Like before my round?
Yeah, like, or the practice round, the Wednesday before the Giles, for instance.
Yeah, no, I don't like to change anything. I like to be pretty much going into a tournament having done the same thing for a couple of weeks. Now, I came and saw you Tuesday before the Giles, and we did that little move, but it wasn't it wasn't just anything drastic, and I was hitting it pretty good, and I was comfortable with that, so I went with that. But I didn't really look at that as even like a feel to play good golf for 3 days. That was a nice move that I can carry over past the Giles, and I have carried it over.
So you'll stick to your feel the whole week.
Yeah. When I stand over every golf ball, I do the same thing. I feel my shoulders when I take it to P2. I don't want my shoulders going in like that. So the first thing that I feel is getting that club here without rotating my shoulders too far back. And then that little move right there. So, I mean, it's basically like two feels for me. When I get to the top, I just want to swing. I don't want to think about anything on the downswing. If anything, maybe like, all right, rotate your hips really fast and let the club fall behind it.
Do you think because we are so close and we talk so frequently about golf and a little bit about Mississippi State college basketball, but particularly golf, have I made you more technical? Would you have said P2 and all this?
I don't know that I didn't even know what that meant. Like a while ago, you were talking about my golf swing. I didn't know what half of that crap meant. Like when you say pivot,
hips.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah. See, I probably at the time, and honestly, right now, I thought you were probably talking about something with my feet.
No. When I say feet, I say pressure.
Yeah. See, now I don't even. I mean, you have made me more technical. Well, what I do know, I know a lot more about the golf swing, which I guess can make me more technical. But I'm also pretty good at ignoring it. Like I just do. I literally. So I'm the opposite of my man Steve Young, who I hit balls with today for an hour, and I know he's gonna watch this.
He's the best.
He's the best. I know he's gonna watch this. Steve will have a lesson with you.
He's a doctor.
Yeah, Steve is a doctor, radiologist, one of the smartest guys that I know. Has GC quad at his house. His brain doesn't stop. He'll leave a lesson from you, and he'll be hitting it probably pretty good, but he thinks that there's something else that can help him out. And he'll test it, and he'll go with it. I love you, Steve. If whatever you tell me might as well be Genesis 1:1.
Well, the funny thing is you guys have gone back to back several times, and you've hung out for his lesson.
Yeah.
And the verbiage during that lesson.
Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah, you like as an instructor, I have to be able to talk to those guys.
Yeah.
I have to be able to talk to the field guys. I have to be able to talk to the guys that don't want anything technical. They just want to control their ball flight, and they'll adjust based on what the ball flight's doing.
Yeah.
But I asked that question because you're so athletic and you get the ball in the hole better than a lot of people. I don't want you to get too technical. And
I can't get too technical. We
don't get technical during our lessons, but like especially texting, or sending other people's swings, PGA Tour players, or what do you think about this? Or
I know you hate when I do that, and I haven't done that in a long time.
You'll send me one of your buddies, and I'll reply, and then you'll just copy and paste into the But I fear sometimes that when we talk about Rory, for instance, and the stuff that I say, it's just. Because I don't want to take the stuff away from you that makes you so good.
I think I could be more. You have given me the ability to be more technical if I want. but I am very good at not being technical because I know that I'm not good when I am technical.
Yeah.
But I know a lot more about the golf swing and the verbiage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know what causes some things, what may not cause some things. Like pretty much anytime you do something in the golf swing, whatever you think is the problem is really being caused by something else that's the problem.
Order of operations.
Yes. I would have never, just something as small as that. I probably would not have even thought about that 2-3 years ago. So yeah, there's a lot. I've learned a lot. I know a lot more. I could be more technical, but I'm still pretty not very technical.
Yeah, but you're good at, if someone, you can identify if a student walks in and he says, so-and-so told me to do this. Why do they tell you to do that? What is causing that?
Yeah.
And do you even need to fix that? Is this part of who you are? Have you been playing with a flex lead wrist your whole entire life?
Yeah.
Have you been playing with the club a little bit under and having more of an outward hand path, but you go externally really late and clear? So it's, some of that stuff now.
Yeah, and I need none of that
which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's fun. But I need none of that before. Like nothing at all.
Who's your favorite golf swing to watch over and over and over, excluding Tiger Woods?
I love Rory McIlroy. Everything about him, his golf swing, him as a person.
Mm-hmm.
My buddy Hayden is on tour, and I've talked to him about this a lot, and some other people that I just know through people. What they say is the way he treats the people around him, and his like personal team is just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I respect that because I think he's the best golfer in the world. I like Scotty Scheffler a lot too. He's a great guy, as good as any of them out there, obviously, and he may be the best golfer in the world. But I love watching Rory. But besides Rory, I love Justin Rose.
Mm-hmm.
I love watching his golf swing.
He's another stand-up individual.
Awesome guy.
Really, really good guy.
Yeah.
He talks to everyone. He'll even talk soccer with you. He's a big Chelsea fan.
Yeah.
He remembers people. He remembers coaches. He remembers volunteers.
If I could play with one person on the PGA Tour and it wasn't Rory, I'd probably want to play with Justin Rose. I think he'd talk the whole time. I think he'd ask about, he'd ask questions. He'd interact. I like Justin Rose a lot, which made the Masters playoff hard.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see Justin win that. I'd like to see him win another one.
Yeah.
I saw today he's the only guy on the PGA Tour that's been in the top 15 in the last 5 PGA championships. I don't think he's going to probably win this week, but
he could. Apparently it's been raining there all day today.
Yeah, all day. And it's going to rain all day tomorrow too.
Is Rory the pick this week?
I would take Rory, all day. Or Bryson.
Yeah.
I used to hate Bryson. I like Bryson now.
Bryson's really he's flipped the script on his PR.
Yeah, I like Bryson a lot. I don't like Liv at all, but I do like Bryson.
We hosted Liv.
Yeah.
Bryson was there coming off his US Open victory. He really saved that tournament, I think.
Oh, there's no doubt.
He shook every hand.
Yeah.
Every picture. He brought his trophy. You could wear the medal.
Yeah.
If you wanted to. He really went above and beyond that week.
Yeah. He seems like a really good guy. I don't watch YouTube stuff really, but if I do, I'll watch Bryson.
Yeah. He's a good dude. What's coming up next for you?
Club Championship this week at the Fog.
How many times?
Which we call 4. 1 and 4. So
do you get tired of winning it?
No, I don't get tired of winning it. I hope I beat Adam Condello, who I'm going to make listen to this.
Those star kids aren't playing. They're in Virginia this week.
Yeah, they can't play anyway now. 25 and older. Some guys,
they got tired of losing.
They had the rule changed. So I think it's we got a lot of good guys. We got a lot of good plus handicaps, and the Fog is Vanderbilt Legends Club. We call it the Fog Factory of Golf. But,
if people do listen to this, I'm going to have a hot take for you.
What you got?
I think Vanderbilt Legends Club has the best group of amateur golfers, tournament amateur golfers in the state of Tennessee.
Yeah, I don't think there's an argument to be made in Nashville outside of
you'll have the Nashville golf guys, you'll have some golf club guys.
Yeah.
But the best player at the golf club doesn't play in TGA events.
Who's that?
Tom Lathrop.
Yeah.
Great guy. I grew up with him. His dad is a mentor to me. I worked for him. He's a PGA professional. He's a legend in Nashville. He's in the Hall of Fame. But he's he just wins the club championship of the golf club by whatever, and then he just goes and sails off in the sunset. But the guys at Vanderbilt, you guys are traveling, playing in a lot of big tournaments.
Yeah, we got a lot of good players, that not only travel and play, but we got a lot of good players that could and don't. I don't know anything about the Knoxville area or the Chattanooga area. I don't know what the courses are the best as far as players go, but I would, if you said, hey, get the best 8 guys at your golf course, at every golf course in Tennessee, I'd feel pretty comfortable with our best 8 against anybody else's best 8. And I don't know that it would be close for a lot of places.
You guys should do that.
Yeah.
Maybe we just started it.
Yeah. We'll have to find. I bet I think Spring Creek would be pretty good. I think Spring Creek would have a pretty good 8.
Yeah.
Besides that, I don't know who else. I'm sure there's a slew of them that would be pretty good.
Yeah, these clubs have a really good 1 or 2, but Vanderbilt's deep.
Yeah, well, especially when you start talking about like going and playing the ball down, putting the ball out, playing big time tournaments at big time golf courses.
You guys have high level seniors. You got really good mid ams.
Yes, we do.
Good ams. Really good juniors.
Yeah, we got a lot of good golfers out there.
So I cut you off. You have Vanderbilt Legends Club Championship.
Yeah, Club Championship this weekend will be fun. Friday, Saturday, Sunday stroke play. The next weekend is the Lupton. It's always Memorial Day weekend. Last year was the first time I played in that. Awesome golf tournament. You get a lot of good, the best mid-ams from all over the country will come to that.
When you win the Lupton, do you still get your name in the top of the clubhouse in the golf shop there?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's a really cool place to have your name in the Raptors.
Lost in the playoff last year, so that stunk.
Revenge tour.
Yeah, revenge tour. So we'll see what happens. After that, Carlton Woods down in Houston, Texas, and then the Devlin Cup will be early June. I think it's the second weekend of June. Always fun. Bill Wellens and I will play in that. A couple qualifiers in July or June as well. I'll play.
Are you doing US Mid MQ?
I'll do US Mid MQ. That's later on in the year. I think that's September. And I am going to Ohio. A customer of mine is up in Columbus and Cincinnati, so I'm going to do it. I think I'm playing it. It's in Dayton, Ohio. I have a customer there too, with a store there, so I'll make a work trip out of it. And
Ohio has great golf courses.
Great golf, my gosh. I'll do US Mid MQ. I'll do the couple of the state tournaments, Mid Am, the match play, which is at Legends on our South course, and I'm going to try to play in the State Open. So, and then down the road, later in the year, I'll go back to the Valentine, which was a tournament I went to for the first time last year it's in Richmond, right across the street from Kinloch at Hermitage Country Club. Awesome. You play 2 golf courses. Both of them are great. Members host you. Members come out and watch. It's kind of like a mini Gasparilla, which was back in January in Tampa. Really, really fun event. Maybe my favorite that I go to, I went to for the first time last year is the Stalker Cup.
California?
Yeah, out in Carmel. It's at the Preserve Golf Club. And it is so good. But you make a vacation out of that. You go for the week, just make it a week-long vacation, play some good golf out there, and just probably have to take my wife this year.
As a mid-am, our goals are, especially with you want to rattle off some wins. I really feel those are coming. But are there tournaments, like, is it you have a vision board of, I want to get in the Cromp, or I want to make it? What's your like?
Yeah, I mean, everybody would love to play in the Cromp at Pine Valley. That would be really cool. Some other ones that are really not, the George Thomas at LACC. There's a couple that I play in. Like,
are these just, you have to be top 100 mid-am Wagger?
No, not necessarily. I mean, you got that hell. If you are top 100, you're going to get in most likely, as long as you're a good person. But a lot of it sometimes comes down to know who you know as well.
Can you sort on Wagger?
You
can. You can.
Which I just got ranked like last year after the Lupton, so I just now started even following. I didn't really even know what that was, and that's kind of changed my goals a little bit recently too, because I just got a big jump last week at the Giles.
And you have to keep your Wagger because it's very important. So you have to get 4 points a year.
I think you got to get 4.5. If you get 4 or 4.5 points, then you're guaranteed for the next 12. Year. And I got that at the Giles last week. So I'm good for the next 12. But I jumped up significantly. So like now a realistic goal can almost be top 50 mid-am or top 40 mid-am, which is when you're exempt from the U.S. mid-am. Now, I don't know if that's only Americans, or I would assume it's probably top 40 in the world.
In the world, yeah.
Most likely. And I don't know what number the 40th mid-am is. I could look that up. It's pretty easy. But I know where I'm at as far as mid-ams go, and I know where I am as far as amateurs go, which that amateur number doesn't necessarily matter. If you're top 400 in the WAGR, you're exempt for the U.S. floorball, which would be nice. That's probably around the area you got to get to for top 40 mid-am. Again, I'd have to look that up. It's probably actually, you probably don't have to get that high. So we'll see. I used to never even think that was realistic, to be honest, but possible.
We have all these college kids chasing the dream, turning professional right out of college.
Yep.
It's becoming really hard to make it on tour. There's less spots, less PGA Tour cards.
100 next year, right? For the first time ever?
Yeah, less Corn Ferry Mondays.
Yeah.
The Americas, G Pro, they're getting more expensive. It's really hard to make money. I look at you. I look at all of our friends that are mid-ams that we know. They turn 25. They got their passion back to play golf. And these are all high-level tournament players their whole life. I think this mid-am life is pretty sweet.
It's awesome.
It's pretty sweet. So you play better golf courses.
The best. I mean, just this year.
Networking with friends and work and.
Yeah, it's like the way I explain it is you take, I'll play in probably 15 to probably more, probably 20 events this year, which is probably a lot for, I don't have kids. I am married, I have a job, but kids is probably where a lot of it, you kind of have to scale back a little bit, but I don't have a kid yet. So I'll probably play in 20 events. Probably I'd say almost half of those are like the mid-am events. And those are honestly like little mini weekend vacations with your boys. It's great. You see them 10 times a year. They live all over the country. You may get a house together. You go eat dinner with them Friday, Saturday night. It's awesome. And like you said, the golf courses we're playing are unbelievable. I mean, at the height of it, you're playing at LACC, Pine Valley, Seminole, which I don't, that they're redoing Seminole right now, so they're not having that. But Kinloch, Palmacia, where the Gasparilla is, was awesome, and they're redoing it right now. It'll probably be even better. Honors, Country Club of Birmingham hosts the NIT every November. It is as hard and awesome of a golf course as you can ask for. And if you don't play good, it's like, okay, so what? You're going to work on Monday and you're going home to your wife and you're going to play in another golf tournament in a couple of weeks, probably.
I think a lot of people it would behoove them, and they need to chase the dream, right?
Yeah.
They need to figure that out, but maybe not wait as long. And maybe when they get to that kind of mid-am level, start petitioning and signing the documents to get their amateur status back. And I think they would, because that grind is a grind.
Yeah.
And we see how it breaks down our friends and our players and our buddies. I think there's a whole second life on high level mid-am golf.
Yeah.
And you meet these people, and then when you go to California, they host you at their club, or you host them at Vanderbilt. You always have a connection to someone, because it's literally 50 states of high level mid-ams coming together to play for 3 or 4 days.
And a lot of them play at the best courses in the country.
Yeah.
Because all these tournaments have senior divisions too. So you meet awesome senior at Kinloch. I met two of the nicest, great guys I've ever met in my life. One lives in Northern Ireland and one lives in London.
And they came to the Giles.
Which is a testament to Vinny Giles. The guy that lives in London, his name's Rupert, number 31 in the WAGR for senior. He member at Sunningdale, plays at Sunningdale, and just a really cool place. And they were the nicest guys in the world. Exchanged numbers. Hey, if you're ever in London or if you're ever in Northern Ireland, call me. We'll go have a pint.
Yeah,
and play some golf. I mean, just the nicest guys in the world. And for a lot of people that are in this world, it's great for your business. It doesn't necessarily help me with my job. I mean, I work for a furniture manufacturer and sell furniture to retail stores, but if you're in finance or
if you're a sales guy, if you're in finance,
anything like that, it's
if you
the best
need
thing for
other
your
people to connect you to other people.
Yeah, like if you do that, your boss should be telling you to go play in these tournaments. Yes. Yeah. It's only going to make great connections for everybody.
Well, you'll see a lot of these big companies, when they see a college golfer, they will definitely interview them first.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
Being able to close deals on the golf course.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Meet people, travel around, and it is a fraternity. And all my friends, I met my wife. Everyone in my life currently that is in my family, I met through golf.
Really?
Isn't that crazy?
That is pretty wild. I did not meet my wife through golf.
Yeah, all my friends through golf.
That's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, the friends especially. Everybody, almost 100% of the people that I've met and hang out with here in Nashville are golf. It's probably not 100, but it's probably 90%. The people that I talk to most certainly are via golf.
What do people do that don't play golf?
I don't know. I thought about this.
They own boats.
Yeah, I guess. But if you don't fish either, like that's why you talk about the baseball players that love playing golf. Like you can be competitive and you can compete at it until the day you die.
They need to fill that void. They've been such a competitor, such an athlete their whole life.
Yeah.
And then baseball, crazy challenging. So they just want to tackle another thing. It keeps their competitive spirits.
Yeah. I mean, I think the hardest thing to do in sports is to hit a major league pitcher. I'm not a hockey player. I love hockey. I love the Preds, which is all new for me in the last 4 years, but I do. Never played it, but hitting a 100-mile-an-hour fastball or trying to hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball and then an 86-mile-an-hour slider and an 82-mile-an-hour change. It's the hardest thing. Like
I tell that to all the baseball players that come in for lessons, and they look at me and they tell me golf is harder. And I said, no way.
No, it's not.
And that's just, and then, we work with them for a year or so, and then they get really high level at golf, and they're like, yeah, baseball's harder.
It's harder. It's harder. And I love baseball. I still love baseball. I watch the Braves. Braves play 162 games. I probably watch 125 of them.
But are they doing better? Started slow?
Yeah, they're doing better. I think we lost yesterday, but we were 14-7 in our last 21 before last night.
That's good.
But we lost yesterday to the Pirates, so we lost 2 out of 3 to the Pirates, and the Pirates stink.
Mississippi State going to be better next year?
In football?
Basketball? Everything? Anything? Do you guys have the NIL to compete? Is that ruining in Mississippi State?
No, we're doing well with it, especially in basketball. I mean, it's helped us a lot. We're going to have a pretty expensive roster next year. We just made our 3rd straight NCAA tournament. Never been done before at Mississippi State. Maybe once, but Jans has been here 3 years, made the NCAA tournament all 3 years. We got a great portal class, top 12 or actually top 10 high school recruiting class. So we'll most knock on wood, something crazy is going to have to happen for us to not make it for the 4th straight year. But no, basketball team should be really good. Football team is not going to be worse. We went 2-10 last year, but a lot of stuff led to that. Mike Leach passed away. Had to hire the defensive coordinator. That didn't go well. Fired him after 10 games. Now we're in year 2 of Jeff Levy, who I like a lot. Young guy, but doing pretty well. We went 2-10. He had a top 25 recruiting class. And the portal class this year was pretty good. So, yeah, we'll be better. We're not going to win 8 games. We got the hardest schedule in America. It's always us and Arkansas always have the 2 hardest schedules in America. But we'll be better.
Would you rather win the United States Mid-Am and play in the Masters, but it meant that you could never watch any Mississippi State sporting event again?
That's a good question.
Or never win the Mid-Am and never play Augusta, but you continue to watch.
Do we win a national championship?
No, but you just get to watch Mississippi State.
But I'm not guaranteed a national championship.
Oh, no. I mean, it's Mississippi State. What are the odds?
See, you start doing this stuff and it starts making me angry. I would, if you said, hey, you can sign this paper and you win a U.S. Mid-Am and play in the Masters in the U.S. Open, I'd probably do it.
But there's no more Mississippi State.
That would be so hard. But at the same time, you get a lot of heartbreak from watching your favorite team as well.
Maybe I can get you into the Premier League. Maybe soccer, a little F1.
Yeah, that won't happen. I probably wouldn't do it. I mean, there's 365 days in a year. I probably spend 70 in Starkville. I mean, we have 6 Mississippi State home football games. There's 9 SEC conference games and another 6 at home. I mean, there's 15. So there's 21 football and basketball games that I'm at. Usually I'm there for the night before, the day before. So there's 40 automatically, and then another assortment of days that I'm there. I'm in Starkville a lot.
Seems like a lot of time you'd have to go putt and chip.
Well, I'm a member at Starkville Country Club, so
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, really nice. Not really nice. That's a lie. But they've redone the clubhouse and and all of that stuff. So now the non-golf course is really nice. The golf course is good. It's just old, short.
Do they sell Mississippi State logo balls?
They do, but I don't play with those. I don't have any of those.
We should get you. Do you have a ball marker?
No, my dad does though. So as much as I love Mississippi State, my dad loves them just as much, if not more. My mom loves them just as much as I do too. They're in Starkville probably more than they are at home now. They go to every football game, every basketball game.
That's good.
Which I do as well, but they go to every baseball game. They used to go to some women's basketball games. I mean, they do it all. Well, but you grow up in Mississippi. We didn't have a lot, we had golf and
sports
Mississippi
and
State.
cowbell.
Yeah.
We're going to cheer on Mississippi State with you this year.
No, you're not.
I turn on the games.
Yeah, I know. And then you do that just so you can text me and say, hey, Mississippi State's losing. What's the issue?
I don't know. I mean, they were just getting backdoored every time. That guy was sleeping.
You're talking about Cam Matthews.
Oh, man. I don't know.
I'm
not going to talk about him. What if he listens to the podcast?
He's so good. He just hopefully he makes an NBA team. He's pretty much Draymond Green. Can't shoot, but he does everything else at a very high level.
The intangibles.
Those little things. He's a great guy to have on your team.
All right, buddy. This was fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for talking Mississippi State.
You didn't even bring up Dr. Pepper either.
I didn't bring up Dr. Pepper, but for those that are still listening, how many Dr. Peppers do you drink a day?
Oh, gosh. It's close to double digits. It's probably at least 8 a day.
Should we have an intervention on the pod? Should we talk about caffeine? And
I've stopped during golf tournaments.
That's good.
All water.
We talked about that.
We did talk about that.
Has it helped?
It helps a lot, mentally at least, from the time I tee off, really from the time I get to a tournament to the time I leave. Unless I'm having a meal, I don't drink it. It's all water.
That's good.
Mentally, it makes me feel better about it at least.
Water's good for you.
Water, yeah, I guess.
It's good for the brain, and you're using a lot of the brain in the golf tournament.
I don't drink like at all.
Mm-hmm.
Started drinking a little bit during golf tournaments. Everybody else is doing it. Everybody else is doing it on the Mid-Am circuit.
We're really getting in the Mid-Am.
Everybody else does it on the Mid-Am circuit. So I was like, I'm going to try this. So this started last year.
It's like podcast after hours.
Just a real quick story. Last year at the Lupton, I made the turn.
Was this?
This is Sunday.
Yeah.
So back 9 on the final round, third round. I think I was even par for the tournament and even par for the day. And I was just like, I got to make a couple birdies if I want to have a chance. I wasn't out of it by any means, but I was a couple back. And I was just still like tight. But you're always tight on that golf course because you're one swing away from making a 7 every single shot.
Crazy hard.
It's unbelievable. So I grabbed a beer at the turn on the back 9. And between 10 and 13, I think I made a birdie somewhere and just felt a little bit better. You got that hut right there by 14, the short par 3. I hit it to like 2 feet on 14. I made a birdie. So I'm 2 under for the tournament and the day. Feeling a little good after having a beer. So I got 2 more.
Oh, Poppy.
I was like, we're going to see. We're going to keep this going. I got 4 holes left and I birdied 16, 17, and 18 while drinking some Michelob Ultras that I cannot stand. And I didn't do it very much last year, but I did a little bit at Kinlock. I made 2 doubles on my first 9 holes at Kinlock and turned in 40. And I was like, I'm going to shoot $1 million and get last place and never come back, or I can drink this Heineken. So I drank a Heineken at the turn, shot 3 under on the back 9, drank more than 1 Heineken, drank 2 Heinekens on the back 9, shot 3 under. And I was like, okay, I may have to do this before I even tee off going forward.
Yeah.
And it tastes terrible to me. I don't like it, but I had to do it.
I usually tell my guys, maybe some electrolyte drink, some powder, stay hydrated, maybe a granola bar.
Yeah,
to each their own.
Not a Red Star Heineken. everybody else is doing it, so it's not even like frowned upon. Well, most people look at you and like, how do you do this sport without drinking? Most people can't play with, it's like calm the nerves.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing it though. It's awesome. Just goes back to how fun it is. Everybody's loose,
That's good. You do not listen to music, correct? That's probably not allowed.
Like when I'm no, I don't know. I don't really like listening to music even when I'm playing on my own.
Yeah.
That's just too much going on.
All right. Well, maybe I'll go get you a beer, bud.
I'm gonna finish this Dr. Pepper.
Cheers. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate you.
We'll do it again.
Good luck next week in the Lupton.
Hey, go Dogs.
Revenge tour.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you guys.